going to have to make a little short overview, because we're learning from the Zohar, specifically in Parashat Mishpatim. And the reason why we're learning Parashat Mishpatim, because we're not in Parashat Mishpatim, we're in Chukat. But we learn here from a book called Gates of Reincarnation, written by Rabbi Chaim Vital, which is the teachings of the Arizal, Rabbi Luria. And most of his sources he references to the Zohar. And there are many different places in the Zohar talking about reincarnations and past lives and what's called Gilgul Neshamot. But the main source that we have is in Parashat Mishpatim. That's the main source we have in the Zohar for all the title that is called reincarnation. Now really the word incarnation and reincarnation is not precise. In Hebrew it's called Gilgul Neshamot. Gilgul means to roll over. And now there's definitely not the time to give an overview about the topic, but there are three ways how souls come back into this world. One of them is called Gilgul, that the soul comes into the body when the person is born and leaves the body when the person dies. The other type is called Ibur. Ibur is an impregnation, and the soul can come into a body while the body is alive, can stay there for a second, for a minute, for an hour, for a year, and leave. And again, now is not the time, and we have many other classes, but we have learned from the Gates of Incarnation that as we speak right now, there's a few souls in our body. It's not only one soul. And many times the souls come to visit and they park in my body. And this is called Ibur. And usually the Ibur will be from a higher soul than me, and it will come to assist me until I sin. And sometimes, where do you see that? That people get like a flash of a boost of energy, but they're about to do some severe sin and something changes their mind. Or they're in great depression and suddenly they get an awakening and they're able to go out of their state of mind or whatever. This is a soul comes in and visits the body and lifts the body up a little bit. But as soon as the person sins, the soul will leave the body. And then the last one is called Yibum. Yibum is when a man dies and he doesn't have kids, assuming he's married. Then the brother has to go and marry the sister and have a child with her, and by that he brings the soul into the world, and it's much more complex than that. It's called Yibum. If the wife doesn't want to do that, then she has to do a certain service that is called Chalitza. But anyways, these are the three ways how soul can come into the world. And needless to say, this is a very fascinating topic. Everybody wants to know what they were 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 600 years ago. It's less relevant who I was 500 years ago. It's more relevant who I am now. But that's why a lot of people, they lose themselves when they're trying to find out who was I 500 years ago. What I want to find out is what I need to do in this world to correct it. Most of us here are here to correct what we didn't achieve in previous lives. So we have, first of all, what we didn't achieve. More than that, the damage that we caused that we have to pay. And this is corrected in a Gilgul, in an incarnation. Most of us are carrying both problems, meaning that we didn't achieve all what we need to. Now Arizal, by the way, is Rabbi Luria. He says that we have to come down to this world to perform all 620 mitzvot in thought, speech, and action. I know we just said 613, but there's also 7 rabbinical mitzvot that we have to do. So we have to do all 620 in thought, speech, and action. If I didn't do it, then I have to come again, and again, and again, and again. We know of 2 individuals in our history that were able to do it all in one shot. One of them is King David, and one of them is the prophet Daniel. That they came and they did the whole thing in one shot. And we know there's no incarnations of David HaMelech. We know there's many tzaddikim, they come back here over and over and over. David HaMelech, that's it. He knocked it out and he's out. Doesn't have to come back here again. There's different books of incarnation. There's a great Mekubal. He's known as the Rama from Pano, Rabbi Menachem Azariah. He has a lot of books of incarnation. There's one book that he actually says there, who's who God incarnated in who, and so we know based on his teachings and many others that David HaMelech and Daniel the prophet never came back here. So it's possible, but we're not that. So my analogy, my understanding is that the majority of us in this generation must have lived either at the time of the desert or either at the time of one of the temples. Why? Because if I already lived in that time, in that era, it means that I did all the mitzvot of the sacrifices. And there was a king, and there was Kohanim. Now I don't do that. We don't have a Kohen. We don't have the land of Israel to give Ma'asrot and all the laws of the land of Israel. We don't have a king. That's 70% of the mitzvot. Must be that we did that already. But if we're here in this generation, it means that we didn't do it in thought, speech, in our thought or in our speech. That's why we have to learn. We have to learn a lot of Torah. But nevertheless, the idea why we're learning about reincarnations is not about the hoo-ha and the woo, people thinking all sorts of freaky stuff. It's to know what I need to do in this world. If you don't know what you're doing here, so what do you think you came here? To open a Facebook account and see cats dancing? Why do you think you came to this world? You came to do a tikkun. Now Mashiach is coming, like I said, very soon. So all the past lives that we didn't do a tikkun are all now funneled into one life. That's why people in our generation are suffering with so many challenges and problems. Why? Because all the tikkunim that they didn't do, now it's all in one time, in one body. You can't carry it in one shot, and you can't spread it into many times. Now you're going to have to carry it in one time. That's why we all, you're not the only one, that carries a lot of challenges. But now's the time to do it. So don't you want to know what you need to do? That's why we're learning that. Now we already started learning from Parashat Mishpatim. We went already 15 classes into it. Most of you weren't, I don't think were here, so the classes can be found either online, or if you want at the end there's a CD of the 15 classes if you want to do a quick review, because we're going to continue. We can now review all 15 classes back. But nevertheless, the last part where we left off, and we're going to go a few lines back, is that what happens to the soul when it comes down to this world. There's a whole process. How does the soul come down to the world? When a mother and a father having marital relations. And however they're conducting this act will determine how the soul will be pulled down to the world and with what spiritual garments the soul will get. And the more the act is holy, then the parents are dressing the soul of the child with holy garments. If the act is not holy, then they will dress the soul with garments that are not holy. And the last couple of classes, that's mainly what we were focusing on. Now, the way how it works in Parashat Mishpatim is that we're reading from the actual text of Parashat Mishpatim, and what is it talking about? It's talking about a slave, it's talking about a maidservant, it's talking about all these terms that don't make much sense to us. But the Zohar is coming and explaining what does it mean, the maidservant? What does it mean that the father sells his daughter to be a maidservant? That's what it says in the parasha. What father in his right mind will sell his daughter to be a maidservant? Okay, I don't care how poor you are. But the Zohar comes and explains, this is metaphorical, it's talking about other things. So we're talking here, right now, where we left off, is what possesses or what's holding the soul that comes down to the world. And I'm just going to read one part, actually a few parts, so it will be more fresh in our mind. And it says, when the text is talking about the maidservant, that the father sells the daughter to be a maidservant, it's talking about the soul that comes down to this world. Now we have a problem. When the soul comes down to the world, it's vulnerable to be captured by the klipa, by the negative forces. Specifically by the wife of the Samech Mem, that we know her name, we don't pronounce her name, but her name is spelled Lamed Yud Taf. You don't want to call her name because you might invite her for a rendezvous and you don't want to meet her. So, nevertheless, don't mention the name. We don't mention names of demons and angels. Why? Because you call them. Her name is Lamed Yud Taf. And it says something here that we need to know. It says as follows. If you remember, there's a story with Sarah and Abraham, that Abraham and Sarah, they couldn't have a child. Sarah brought her maidservant, Hagar, to Abraham, and she had a child, Ishmael. At some point he became a little bit older, he became a little bit of a troublemaker, and he was being a bad influence on Yitzchak. So Sarah said to Abraham, throw her out of the house, which was great sorrow to Abraham. He says, that's my son. Well, you want me to throw my son out of the house? So what if he's a little bit of a troublemaker? Nevertheless, Sarah said, throw her out. The Zohar explains that what is it referring to? Sarah רומזת על המלכות דאצילות. Sarah is hinting on the ספירה of מלכות from the world of אצילות. שיורדת בלילה לעולם הבריאה. At night, the ספירה, the realm in the world of אצילות that is called מלכות goes down one level to the world of בריאה. This is Sarah. ואז שם הוא ביתה. That's where he dwells. לכן רצתה לגרש משם את למד יוד למד תף. אני קראת, אתם נוכחיה? That's why Sarah wanted to kick out Hagar, because Hagar is a manifestation, the corresponding of Lamed Yud Lamed Yutaf, which is the non-Jewish maidservant. כדי שלא תחטוף את הנשמות היוצאות מייחוד הקדוש באצילות. Why? So she's not going to kidnap the souls that are coming from the unity in the world of אצילות. ויצאו הנשמות בביטחון שלא יתאחזו בהם הקליפות. And the souls can easily come down to the world without being scared that the klipa is going to grab them. That's what's happening in our generation and many other generations, that the soul comes down to the world, but right away it gets captured by the klipa. Now the klipa is controlling the soul. This is what we're trying to learn so we can prevent it. So when the text says, Ki imkor ish et bito, when a man sells his daughter, that sounds pretty extreme. A man sells his daughter to be a maidservant. The Zohar says, you're not talking here about a man selling his daughter. It's talking about the soul. Da nishmata, the daughter of the master of the universe. Begilgule, that it was sold to come into a gilgul, into an incarnation. How? Aleidei ovadin bishin de alma. By the bad acts that it did in a previous life, now it has to come back and pay for it. Just the other day I was talking with my son about something, and it was a matter of a couple shekels. I don't remember even what it was. And I told him, he's young, I told him, just give that money away. I'm not coming back to this world for a few shekels. I think it was something in the mikveh, there's a machine there, it doesn't matter. And he didn't understand what I'm saying. I said, the Rizal says a person will come back in a gilgul if you owe even 10 cents. You owe somebody 10 cents, you'll come back here to pay that 10 cents. I think you need to come back here for a whole lifetime to pay 10 cents to somebody. You don't want to come back here in a gilgul. It's not such a picnic to come here. And I told you a story, I'll tell it very briefly. A story happened here in this town over 450 years ago, that there was a very rich man. And this rich man had a young daughter who couldn't find a man to marry. And he, offered money, best matchmakers, couldn't find somebody to marry his daughter. Finally, after many years, she comes home and says, I found a man to marry. Oh, he got excited. He was hoping somebody, good in business can go into the business. She brings to him this skinny, pale guy, learns Torah all day long. And she says, this is what you're bringing? Okay, whatever. You want to get married with him? Fine. Okay, they get married. The night of the wedding, the rich father comes to the groom, and he tells the groom, here's an enormous amount of money. He gives him a large amount of money. He tells him, that's half of what I'm worth, and I'm giving it to you so you can take care of my daughter. Probably equivalent to our generation to a couple $1 million. And he says, I know you're just going to learn Torah. You are what's called a shlemazel. You're not going to make money. Here's some money. That way you can support my daughter. Okay. A month after the wedding, the daughter dies. So the father comes to the groom and he says, give me back my money. The groom says, no, it's my money. You gave it to me. The father says, no, I gave it to you so you can take care of my daughter. I want the money back. The groom says, I'm sorry to tell you, you gave me the money's mine. Okay, what do good two Jews do when there's a disagreement? They go to the Beit Din, to the court. Who's the head of the court? The Bet Yosef, the Maran, the Yosef Karo who wrote the Shulchan Aruch. Right away, he listens, he says the father gets the money. Of course, the father's very happy. The groom says, no, I'm not happy with this verdict. What do you mean you're not happy with the verdict? This is the verdict. This is what the halakha says. No, I want to see the Arizal. What do you think? He's your friend? You're going in for a cup of coffee? Nevertheless, okay, I want to see him. They go to the Arizal. The Arizal had an angel, what is called a Magid, that told him everything, whispered in his ear before it happened. So you don't have to talk much to him. They both walk into the room. They don't have to explain the situation. The Arizal looks at the father and he tells him the groom keeps the money. What? The Beit Din said I keep the money. The Arizal says, you want my advice? The groom keeps the money. Why? So the Arizal says to them, he says to the man, to the rich man, you, this young man, and your daughter that died, are all a Gilgul, are all an incarnation. In your previous life, the three of you were partners in business. And he tells to the old man, to the rich man, you and your daughter cheated him out of his money. Now you all came back here to this world, and now it's time for you to give him back the money. So you can go by what the halakha says, and you keep the money, but you're going to come back here again. If you want, you give him now his money. Your daughter will reach to a rectification, a tikkun. She is going to go to Gan Eden. You will go to Gan Eden. You don't have to come back here again. So now this kind of sheds light on our situations that 90% of what happens to me, this is a tikkun from a previous life. And I don't understand why I have to go into an argument with you and why you take my money, not you. But why things happen. Why? Because I don't know what's the tikkun. So the souls don't want to come back down here. And sometimes I owe somebody $1. Why should I come back here for $1? Yeah, you're going to have to come back here. You're not going to be able to pay it from up there. Nevertheless, we have a scare that when the soul comes down to the world, it falls to the wrong hands. Now, where do you see that in this world? I'm just going to paint a situation. You'll take it and use it to your own imagination. Imagine now there's a town, and in the town there's one person that really dislikes another person. Now comes a new person into the town. If he will fall into the hands of the person that dislikes the second person, what is he going to do? Right away, he's going to badmouth the person he doesn't like. Don't go there. He's not good. He's not kosher. He's going to manipulate that person. Now the person doesn't even know anything, and that person, the first one, already manipulated that he turns people against another person. Now that happens on a daily basis in many different places. Don't shop over there. It's not so kosher. And people, like we just talked about before, about Lashon Hara, we spoke in the morning. What's the problem with Lashon Hara? That the person who listens, it goes and penetrates into the heart, and then it gets engraved on the nefesh, on the soul. So even if you come and say to that person, I lied, or I exaggerated, it already did its damage, it's already there. So same thing here, the soul comes down to the world. If it's captured by the klipa on the way down, then the soul already is coming down to the world with this impurity. And then it's going to affect the person in a very profound way, and that's the problem with many people in our generation. So this is in very general what we were talking about the last couple classes. What happens when the soul comes down? How does it get captured by the klipa? Why it's important how the parents having marital relations, because so not to give the klipa any type of achiza to grab the soul and so forth. This is very general what we went through the last couple classes, but now we're going to continue. If you want to follow, we're on page 90, Tzadik Vav, 96 Amud Bet, page 96b, and we're kind of in the middle, but it's really going into a new ma'amar, into a new section of what we're learning. So again, if you want to catch up, the best way is either go online and you'll see there's 15 classes, so that's about 15 hours to catch up, or there's a CD here with all the classes and you can catch up. But now we're going to the next section. We'll probably take the whole thing to finish, probably I think the way we're going, maybe 100 classes, but at least we're going to slowly cover everything. So now we're going to continue, not where we left off, a little bit back. We're going to go back a few lines, just because we had this break and you want to kind of go with the same from the beginning. So it goes as follows. Tu azharut alivnei nasha, it behane krai. There's another warning that human beings need to be warned in the verses that we read in Parashat Mishpatim. It's also important if you're following now, go to Parashat Mishpatim and read it. At least read the first part that the terms will be familiar. What are these warnings? Kama etin tavin ilain inun bechol milei deoraita. There's a few good advice and important advice in the words of the Torah. The Torah is not a history book, by the way. Some people think it's a history book. Some people just think it's a boring book. The Torah is full of gems and full of hints and a lot of good advice. V'chul hu kshot be'orach kshot. Everything that the Torah says is truth. The Torah, there's no lying in there. For 3,300 years, millions of people are trying to find something in the Torah that is false. And you know how many people found? 0. Nobody was able to find one part in the Torah that contradicts itself, that is false, that is wrong. Go to any type of other text, you'll find dozens of mistakes. The Torah, there's no mistakes because it's divine. It was given from Hashem. And the Torah is so precise and so, as they say, on the money, can only be divine. But nevertheless, a person that reads through the Torah, everything the Torah says is truth. But more important, v'kul hu kshot be'orach kshot. It takes the person in the path of emet. You know that most people, path of emet means the path of truth. Most people, I can only say in our generation because I don't remember my previous lifetimes, but most people in this generation are walking on a path of deception, of a lie. And they don't even know that. Either they know that, they're just too lazy to figure that out or to get out of it. But most people are somewhere or another conned in this world, and they believe what they're being told. We spoke about it in the morning. You know that most people, they go into the supermarket, they believe what it says on the products on the shelves. It's sometimes hard to understand. You go, you take a box off the shelf, no preservatives. Really? So it's sitting on the shelf for half a year. No preservatives. Yeah. Diet Coke, that's the one that I like. Diet Coke? This I wouldn't even give to fuel my car. You clean toilets with Coke. Who drinks it? And the junk that it says sometimes on product, no sugar added. Really? So how is it sweet? Because you put another type of chemical that would sweeten it, and people believe. So this is one way of many. How people see the shekel. The shekel means deception, a lie. No, this is true. No, it's not. 99% of what you see in this world in front of you is shekel, is a lie. It's not true. But we are very easy controlled and we don't see the truth in front of us. So this is one example out of many, because in our generation the problem with nutrition, and people believe everything they read. All it has to say on the box, organic. It's organic. Did you go to the farm and see where it was grown? No. It says on the box organic. Why do you believe that? So I told you in the morning, I don't believe anybody in anything. Who says? I'm telling you, take my word for that. Walk into a supermarket, 90%, and I'm being conservative, of the products on the shelves are not really food. They're not food. But nevertheless, everybody believes in it. So this is one example out of many how the shekel, the deception is in my face, and I'm 100% convinced. You follow the Torah, that's the only way that will show you that's the truth. Now don't be fooled by this, by the way, because the majority of the ones who carrying beards and yarmulkes and suits and everything, not to say lashon hara, but that's the ultimate shekel. So don't believe everything that you see. And you know, the shekel comes dressed in the most nicest way. So don't be a fool, you read between the lines, but nevertheless the Torah is the only source that will walk you in the path of emet, the path of truth. And we had a lot of classes talking about what does it mean, truth. Truth is, it says that the seal of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, every king has a seal, a stamp. The seal of Hashem is truth, chotam ha'emet, everything is truth. Now we learned about Korach. The sons of Korach fell into the ground, they were screaming from the bottom, Moshe emet, Torato emet. Moshe is the truth, his Torah is the truth. But nevertheless, the Torah is the truth, and it will only take you in the path of truth. And they're known, the person who are going to the wise people that know the path of the Torah, that they will take you in the path of emet. Why? When the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world, just imagine what happened before that. What aroused Hashem to create a world? Why did he get this bold idea? Hey, let's make a planet. Let's make a universe. That's a bold idea. Who needs this headache? We were fine before that. But nevertheless, when the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world, What aroused him or promoted him to do so? בכוח התעוררות המעשים טובים שיעשו בני ישראל נחת רוח. Because he saw the amount of good and kindness that people will do in the future. He says, oh, this will be a world that we can show kindness. We can show charity. Ooh, that I like. Let's make a world. Salik בראות הקמה, he had an idea, וצייר כל נשמתין, דאינון זמינין למאה בני נשה לבטר. He had a bold idea, and you know what he did? He painted, in his, of course it's a metaphorical way, but he painted the future, the script. You know, you have a bold idea to build a beautiful building, the architect makes the how it's going to look. Kadosh Baruch Hu already painted all the souls that are going to be given to the humans. He already painted the souls. He just sat there and he fantasized about this beautiful world. He already brought it all down to a blueprint. וכולהו הצטיירו קמה בהות ציורה, ממש דזימני למאה ובני נשה לבטר. And everybody in this painting was painted exactly how it's going to be in the future, to be later on humans. Kadosh Baruch Hu is an artist. He took a canvas, which we in our mind cannot really fathom how that canvas looks. But everything that he thought about, he's put it down into what they say, put it in writing. How many times you have a bold idea? Put it in writing. Give me a proposal. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, wow, I have a great idea. Let's make a world. So he started painting everything. So to say, what did he paint first? All the souls, how they're going to be given into bodies and become humans. So, why? So we can do charity and kindness. וחם כל חד וחד, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu visioned every soul, millions of souls. The Kadosh Baruch Hu visioned one by one. והית מנהון דזימני לאבשה ארכאי ובעלמא. And he saw that some of them will actually go on a bad path in this world. Some will do good, but some will go to the wrong side. וממשיך דבריו, and he continues and he says, ובשעת דמדא דזימניו, at the time when everything was ready and the souls had to go down to the world, קרא קודשא בריחו לאי נשמתה. Now, let's take a pause and we're going to explain what happens when the Kadosh Baruch Hu is about to send the soul down to the world. It's kind of draft when you get drafted to the army, but a little bit more sophisticated. When a soul is about to come down to the world, let's see what happens. When it's the time, by the way, there are souls sitting in the bank of souls and they're ready to come down to the world. Each one has a body designated. Everything is precise. There's no mistakes. The soul can sometimes choose where it's going to come to, who's going to be the parents, where it's going to be born. That's if the soul has the merits. If the soul doesn't have a merit, you don't get a smack, just go down there already, gets pushed to the worst place. But if the soul has a little bit of merit, if the person has to correct in this world the sin of theft, then the soul will be placed in a very rich family. And he has everything, he doesn't have to steal anything, and he can do his tikkun. And so forth. If the soul has to do tikkun of forbidden relations of arayot, he will be born into a religious family. And from day one, separated, the boys and the girls are separated. I told you many times, you saw in the morning my daughter who walked in, and I told you many times, no questions, no arguments, 100% guarantee. She's a reincarnation of my grandmother. And I spoke about it many times, I'm going to go in length in that. But she was such a special soul that Hashem says, I'm going to put her in a cocoon. I'm going to put her in a, how do you put the little gentle flowers in a hot house? How do you call it? Chamama. Hot house? Greenhouse, sorry. From day one, she's going to eat kosher. From day one, she's going to observe Shabbat. She's always going to be dressed modest. She's covered. She's protected. She just needs to do her tikkun and that's it. So when it's time for the souls to come down, the Kadosh Baruch Hu calls the soul, summons the soul. And he says, Amarla, he says, Zili, go. Uli beduch, pelan beguf plan. Go into this body. Kadosh Baruch Hu is in charge of everything. And he tells the soul, go to that body. This is the body that belongs to you. Why should you go into this body? Ta'asi bo mitzvot u'ma'asim tovim. Now use the body to do mitzvot and good deeds. Why? Kedei la'arbot tzcharech. So I can give you great reward. It's almost like now me coming and telling you, here's a car. Do mitzvot with this car. Don't drive like a maniac on a highway. Don't rob banks with this car. Help people. Take old people to their doctor. I don't know, I'm just using my imagination. Do a mitzvah with the car. Nevertheless, Hashem says to the soul, use this body to do mitzvot and to do good deeds. Why? So I can give you a reward. Ativat kameh. Now the neshama, the soul, answers back to Hashem. Mare de alma daili be alma da. De anayat vebe. The master of the universe, please. It's enough to me, the abundance that you're giving me here. Even the little that I have here in the world above, it's good for me. It's enough for me to sit next to you. Why do you bother now sending me into this world? It's fine. I don't need to go. I'm happy here. Why are you sending me? Who needs this headache? Leave me here. I don't want to go down to this world. You know why I don't want to go down to this world, says the neshama, the soul? Because I'm going to get dirty with sins. I don't want to go to this world. Because maybe I will do some sins and I will get dirty. And I don't want to go down to this world. Because I don't want to go down, even though, you will give me a reward. But I can also lose on the other hand. This is, I can get from here, but I would lose from here. I rather stay even. I don't need now to get more reward. Why? Because down there I can get worse because of all the sins that I'm doing. Now what's going to happen? Because when I go down to this world, what's the first thing that controls me? The Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara right away, he puts his hand on the soul. You're mine. I'm going to show you what to do. Now I'm going to be dirty in this world from all the sins that I'm doing here. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu answers to the soul. Min yoma deit beriat, from the day you were created, al da'it beriat lemevebu alma. You were created only to come down to this world and to be dressed into a body. Why? So you can do acts in the world below and you will get a reward for that. Since the soul sees that, against its will, it goes down to the world, gets into a body of a baby, even though the soul heard from the mouth of Hashem, this is good for you. You're going to go to a higher place. It's almost like jumping from a certain place into a trampoline, and whoa, you go higher from where you started. So even though the soul heard from Hashem, it's good for you. You'll go to a higher place. With all that, she worries. Why? Shema techda. Maybe she'll do a sin. V'yeh hefech hakavana, and will be the complete opposite. I came down to increase reward, now I'm becoming worse. But nevertheless, it goes against its will. That's what it says in the Mishnah, in Tractate Avot, V'al karchach anolad. Against your will, you're born. Now it continues and it says, Oraita de yahavat aita lechol alma chamei hachi. The Torah gives advice to all the world that sees that the neshama comes down to the world against its will. As hirat levnei alma, it warns the people in this world, ve'amarat le, and it says to them, Chamu kama, chas kuchabrichu alaychu. Look how much the Kadosh Baruch Hu has mercy on you. This is what the Torah tells the neshama. Margalit atava. Your soul is a gem, an expensive rock, like a diamond. Dehavat lezabin lechu magana. That if it was lu hayta lemala, if it was up, then he won't give it to you for free. Dishtabdun ba be'ai alma. In order for you, Hashem is giving you this gem, this neshama, that you go down to this world, use it in the world below, but for your own benefit. It's almost like a father wants to see the child succeed in business. Tells the child, here's money. Go invest. Don't ask for me for money. Go invest. You saw the cookie stand outside. My daughter wants to enjoy herself. Go and invest. Here's money. Go and invest. Go and make money. Same thing here. The Kadosh Baruch Hu says to the man, here, I'm giving you a soul. You know what's the soul? Psh, What you can do with the soul, use it. It's for your own benefit. Why are you whining? That's why it says in the text, V'chimkor ish, when a man sells, it's not talking about a man selling his daughter. Dakut shabrichu. It's talking about the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Who is the Kadosh Baruch Hu selling, so to say? Et bito. His daughter. Who's the daughter? Danishmata Kadisha. This is the holy soul. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to give you a soul. Who is he selling it to? Le'ama, to a maidservant. Le'meheve ama mishtabda benaychu. Behai alma. That this ama, this maidservant, the maidservant is kind of like a slave. And it's working in this world. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to sell you, so to say, in this world. You're going to have to be a slave in this world. In this world. But I'm asking you, when it's time for you to leave this world, don't go like how the slaves was to go out. Meaning, lo tipok mitnafa bechovin. Don't bring me back the soul full of sin. Bring me the soul exactly how I gave you, but with more. Don't give it to me like that. Sometimes people, what they do, I don't know why people have this bad habit. They rent a car. Now, since it's a car rental, they're taking the car on a road test. Let me see if the car can go through the speed bump on 80 miles an hour. Let's test the shocks. If it's your car, you go like that. The rental car, it's not your car. Why are you doing that? But that's the bad habit of many people. It's not your car. For your car, you're driving like this, chas v'shalom, not to wear off the tires. But rental cars, Hashem Erachem, what they do to the cars. So same thing here. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, I'm giving you the neshama, don't tear it down. Don't make it filthy with sins, and that when I take the neshama, it will be like, what is this? What are you giving me? The soul was in the body for 80 years, you're giving it back like a shmate? Ela, rather, tipok batchorin berira nekiya. Let it come out of this world like a free soul, but teora v'nekiya, clean. I gave it to you clean, give it back clean. In this world, you give the car back not clean, they fine you. They have to pay a penalty. You rent a car, you lease a car, they make you sign. After 3 years, any damage, you have to pay for that. Or whatever it is, same thing here. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I gave it to you clean, use it, give it back to me clean. Begin the Yechedei Ba Me'ari, in order for the Kadosh Baruch Hu to have pleasure with the soul that came back. This is called Sod HaYichud HaNe'asa L'Yedei Neshmot HaTzadikim Shemistalkim Ha'olam. There's a certain unity with all the souls when they become united, when they leave this world. Ve'ishtabach ba, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will be proud of the neshama. Look what it did in the world above, in the world below. Ve'yahiv la'agar tav b'tzirtzuchei deginta de'eden. And now the soul can get a reward, and the soul goes into Gan Eden and gets an amazing reward in Gan Eden. Here, I sent you down to the world, you did your mitzvot, you came back, very good. Saying in other words, שמלבד השכר הקצוב על כל מצווה ומצווה, besides the fact that you get a reward for every mitzvah that you do, נותנים עוד מתנה ותוספת טובה. You get a bonus. You did the job right. Not only that you get the reward for every mitzvah, I'll give you a bonus. כפי השמחה וכוונת הלב. How big is the bonus? According to how much simcha, how much joy you had with doing it, and how much intention in your heart you had. If you did it because you were forced, you'll get your reward. And that's it. You do it with simcha, with happiness, do it with a real kavanah, with the right intention. For that, you'll get a greater reward, a bonus. According to how much hard it was for you, that's how much the reward will be. Now I'm already here. Let me at least pack in some rewards here. Everything is so to say, weighed in Shamayim. The Mishnah says, "Lefum tza'ara agra." The more sorrow you have, the greater the reward is. So when something comes in hardship, sometimes a person decides, I'm going to read this book. You open the book after 3 pages, I don't understand anything. Whoa, why are you giving up? Sit down. What do you think you're going to understand that with just reading the book? You have to kind of break your brain onto it to understand. Has to be sorrow here. Or sometimes people say, I want to pray in the morning. For some people it's easy to wake up at 5 in the morning. Some other people, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and they wake up at 11. It's every person has his own Yetzer Hara. But nevertheless, a person rips himself out of his bed, goes like this. I don't sleep much. I usually sleep half an hour, 2 hours. Today I went to sleep. I went to rest at 6:30 in the morning, and I rested for an hour and a half. So when I woke up, I was like, I don't look so great in the morning. Hair is sticking up here. I don't like hair like that. So my wife told me, "Oh, look, you look great." I'm like, "Yeah? What do you mean great? I feel like a car hit me." Nevertheless, this is called tsar. You rip yourself out of the bed to go to the Knesset early to pray. Whatever you do, the more you work hard, there's a reward for that. Everything is weighed. One person, for him to put tefillin is like that. Another person, for him to put tefillin is the hardest thing in the world. Then it's rewarded. There's no price tag on tefillin. You can't say, a man puts tefillin, you get X. You can't. Because for you it's easy. For you it's the hardest thing to do. Nevertheless, every mitzvah you get the reward and also you get the bonus. Ka'amadat Amar, as it says, Vehisbiya betzachtzachot nafshecha, that you get, so to say, lasbiya means that when you get full, then you eat a good meal and then you're full. You're satisfied. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu satisfies your soul. You get full, so to say, with the reward that Hashem does. How? With the shining of the light of Hashem to the soul. The more the soul is exposed to the light of Hashem, the more it gets pleasure. Veda ka tipuk berira nekiya kidkayot. And all this is when you leave the world pure. If you don't leave the world pure, then I'm sorry to tell you, you're not going into Gan Eden, Habibi. You're going to get a few slaps here, a few slaps there, and make a U-turn. But nevertheless, we want to come out of this world clean. Now, I know a lot of people say now, clean. Not even close to clean. But nevertheless, your whole life you have to do tshuva. That's something you want to work for. Maybe now I'm not that great. But nevertheless, I have every day that I'm here, it's an opportunity. Let's just read a little bit more. If, this is the text from the Parashat Mishpatim. If it seems bad or not good in the eyes of its master, and of course this is not referring to the maidservant, rather, kad nafka miluch lecha bitinufei chovin vela itchaz yad kamei kidkayot. When the soul comes out of the body, and the soul is full of dirt from sins, it doesn't look good in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's embarrassing to stand in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu and the soul is full of dirt. That's not a nice sight. Va'elehu gufa, poor is this body, that itavid me'ahi nishmat le'almin, that it was lost from the soul from the world above. If the body did the sins, by the way, the body does the sins, not the soul. If the body does the sins, what happens if a soul is in a body and the body did sins, that the punishment that you don't get it up in Tchiyat HaMetim, you don't have a place in the resurrection of the dead. We just learned before that about Lashon Hara. Person that speaks Lashon Hara, I told you, we didn't get to the Zohar yet. Person that speaks Lashon Hara, no chelek ba'olam haba. He's out. You're done. You uprooted yourself. You can't get up in Tchiyat HaMetim. What happens if the soul leaves? Now the body is not worthy to wake up in Tchiyat HaMetim. V'lo asa tshuva, and he didn't do tshuva. ואז הנשמה מתגלגלת בגוף אחר. So in Tchiyat HaMetim, the soul will get a different body. But the body doesn't get resurrected. Why does it get rolled into another body? כדי לתקן מה שנפגמה בגוף הראשון. The soul gets affected, so it needs to be corrected. It will get into another body to correct the sins that it did in a previous life. בגין דקד נשמתין סלקין ברירן ונפקין נקין מהי עלמא. Why? Because when the souls go up from the world clean and they're pure and they go out of this world, כל נשמתה ונשמתה עלת בספרה דחמתה, The Malka, every soul and soul that goes in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Remember what we learned in this morning? That everyone who goes into the Beit Din, what do? Here, Mr. Anava, here is your book. Let's open the book. Let's see what you did all your life. And everything that I ever did in this book is written there. So every soul comes and it has to sign in. You know, sometimes you go to a building and they tell you, sign yourself in. You show your ID. You write down your name, the office you're going to, the hour of going in and the hour of going out. Same thing here. Every soul goes and it writes in the name in the book. And this book is in the highest chambers, what's called Otzrot HaMelech Beitech Chalot Elyonim, in the chambers of the king in the world above. Vekulhu b'shimhahan, and every soul writes down their name. Ve'amarda, and then it says, Hi nishmada de plenaya, zemina dehela hu gufa de shavkt. The Kadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, this soul came from this body, and its future to go to that body that was left in the world. Everything is precise. You know, you go to a supermarket, they take the product, they have a barcode, and they scan it. The soul also goes up to Shamayim, has a name, doesn't have the name Moshe, but it has a name of the soul, a barcode, a serial number, whatever you want to call it. Nevertheless, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, this is the soul of this person, שעתידה להתלבש בגוף שלה, that is its future to go into that body. וכדן כתיב לא יעדה, that's why it says that the Kadosh Baruch Hu subpoenas, so to say, the soul that is destined to go to that specific body in the future at the time of resurrection of the dead. But, בחד נפקת רעה בעיני אדוניה, what happens if the soul looks bad in the eyes of its master? When the soul is smeared, so to say, or it becomes completely impure with all the sins that it did. Can you imagine? It's almost like taking, the sampe out of the dirt and saying, what is this? That's how you're coming up here. The Kadosh Baruch Hu will not subpoena the soul to be going into a body again. Soul is dirty, can't go into a body. And then the body gets completely lost from that soul, and the body will not be resurrected in Tchiyat HaMetim. That's a big punishment, by the way. And the soul will not be subpoenaed or called to that specific body. Saying, in other words, שאינה משתוקקת לשוב עוד אליו כדרך נשמות הצדיקים שמשתוקקות לגופם. Our body is a great connection to the soul. And when I do mitzvot, you know why we have the era of Tchiyat HaMetim, of the resurrection of the dead? Because my body did mitzvot. This hand gave charity, has to get a reward. This hand, it put tefillin on, has to get a reward. And my leg took me to the Bet Knesset, and my mouth said the Divrei Torah or whatever. The body needs to get a reward. Can you imagine that you win the lottery ticket and they read the winning number and you're not there? So the body needs to get a reward. You know what a punishment it is for the body not to be resurrected? It's a big punishment for the body. The tzaddikim are dying to get back to their body. It's almost like you have a vacation. I don't know if you'll dig my analogy, but it's almost like you have a vacation and you go and you rent some jalopy, I don't know, some small car, barely turns on, very uncomfortable. And at home you have a fancy Mercedes, something, a beautiful BMW. Can't wait to get back into the nice car. In the vacation, okay, it's 3 days, I'm only renting a cheap car now. But it's very uncomfortable. So I hope you're going to the depth of my analogy. The tzaddik can't wait to get back into its body. It's a Rolls Royce, you know what it means, a tzaddik of a body? The tzaddikim can't wait to get back down to their body. Why? Because they're a team. The soul and the body is a team. It's a good team. If there's a good combination between the soul and the body, they do the mitzvot the right way. Besides that the soul is, so to say, the owner of the body, if the body did tshuva. Now when does the body do tshuva? The gufaba, as long as the soul is together with the body. The body cannot do tshuva by itself. The soul is part with the body. It's an owner of the body. I know it's maybe a bad analogy, but it's like a jockey and its horse. That's my horse. I mean, I don't want to sit on a car or something. It's a piece of metal. Here it's at least an animal. But I'm just trying to find the right idea. I mean, it's my partner. I told you already the joke. I mean, it's completely off the subject, but it's a funny joke. That one time, there was a person who walked into the shul, and he walks up to the rabbi, and he tells him, Rabbi, my donkey just died, and I want you to say Kaddish for my donkey. What? You want me to say Kaddish for the donkey? Yeah. I can't say Kaddish for the donkey. How am I going to say Kaddish for the donkey? He says, listen, Rabbi, this donkey was my donkey for the last 20 years. He's a part of the family. I mean, he and me are partners in business. He was carrying everything. I mean, my donkey is very important. I want you to say Kaddish. I'm willing to give a donation. He says, donation? I can't say Kaddish for a donkey. He says, Rabbi, so I'm going to go across the street to the Reform Shul, and I'll give them a $100,000 donation. They'll say Kaddish to the donkey. So the rabbi answers, why didn't you tell me the donkey's Jewish? So, but nevertheless, I mean, the joke is completely off subject, but we need to laugh a little bit. But the owner of the donkey, you make a connection. How many times you have a connection with, can be an animal, I can't say with a car, but with an animal. You know what a connection is between the soul and the body? The soul wants the body to do tshuva. The soul wants to be resurrected into the body that was helping it do mitzvot. It's a great sorrow for the soul when the body doesn't get resurrected. This is kind of explaining and shedding some light how bad it is to cremate the body. You know what sorrow it is for the soul to look when they're burning the body? That's that's my partner. Why are you burning the body? So not too long ago, somebody asked me that his father's very old and he wants to be cremated. He's like, how do I get out of that? So I told him, well, kidnap the body. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, could convince him now before he dies how severe it is. Now, how are you going to convince now a man in his 70s not to burn the body? But nevertheless, it's unbelievable sorrow for the soul to see that the body is being cremated. The soul wants the body to be resurrected. But nevertheless, as long as the body does tshuva in this world, then there's nothing to worry about. And needless to say, the soul needs the body. It's a partnership. Let's read just one more paragraph. Then ktiv vehevda, as it says, and it would be redeemed. Kama de'at amar padan nafsho me'avor b'shachat. The Kadosh Baruch Hu will redeem the soul, just that it doesn't have to go into Gehenom. There's different levels in Gehenom. One of the places in Gehenom is called Shachat. And more, vehefda, and it will redeem it. Hai ihu bebarnash. This is referring to the person. De'eta diled de'ifrokle v'ito b'tyuvta. That the advice is that it should redeem the soul from the din, from the judgment of Gehenom. How? Alei tshuvato, do tshuva. Have some mercy on your soul. That poor soul, what's going to happen when it leaves this world? Velitrin sitrin ka'amar kuchabrichu. And to both sides, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is referring to. Vehevda betyuvta, it's talking about that the man should redeem the soul from its suffering in do tshuva. And the second one, levatar deta betyuvta padale me'acha degenam. It says, if you do tshuva, then the Kadosh Baruch Hu will redeem you for going into Gehenom. It's not so fun in Gehenom, by the way. It's not like here you have air conditioning. It smells there. It's disgusting. Don't get my jokes. הנה דקדק לומר מאחד דגיהנם להשמינן שאפילו מאורך והשביל המוליך לדרך גיהנום יפדה אותו הקדוש ברוך הוא. Everybody will end up in Gan Eden. I hope, I wish for you all to end up in Gan Eden, but we all have to go through Gehenom, whether you like it or not, because the path to Gan Eden is through Gehenom. There's a very narrow path, and you just have to go and not to fall inside by mistake. But nevertheless, we all go through Gehenom. But nevertheless, it says here, the person does tshuva even from walking on the path through Gehenom into Gan Eden, and from that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will redeem the soul. So just to conclude, it's still not done. I mean, we still have much more to go. But nevertheless, to conclude what it's saying to us, in other words, is that we all come down here to correct our sins. And when we were subpoenaed to stand in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, then Hashem says, listen, I'm sending you down to this body. And the soul is negotiating. No, I'm happy here. It's okay. It's okay. I'm doing fine here. No, you have to go down. Now the Kadosh Baruch Hu will decide to which body the soul gets into. And once it comes down here, then the soul has a mission in this world to do as many mitzvot, as many acts of kindness, and to return the soul back in the same state in order for it to get its reward and the bonuses and so forth. Even though the Mishnah says, don't serve Hashem to get the reward. But nevertheless, it tells us you still get a reward. I have to be very careful that I don't return the soul in a bad situation. That's what I need to be scared of. So soul comes and tells me, how do I save myself, so to say, from bringing the soul back like a piece of junk? Then you have to do tshuva. Okay, so we're not going to look back now what you did. We all have our fair share. But do tshuva. Do tshuva, you start removing all these sins, all the dirt from the soul. And needless to say, that originally, what did Hashem told the soul? You're starting here, but while going down, you're going to go to a much higher place. So again, we're just reading now a little piece out of a very long discourse, so it's hard now to see the whole picture. To be patient and go through the classes. But nevertheless, we still want to go through the classes a little bit to get some type of tachlis, as they say. To learn the Torah is beautiful, but if I don't apply anything or I don't learn from that something, then what did I learn the Torah? So at least from today, we want to learn the great advantage that I have with tshuva. Doesn't matter who you were, what you did, where you came from, what's your past, what's on your resume, everything can be reversed. Everything can be rectified. Everything can be clean. Any sin that a person does can be wiped off. More than that, the Talmud says that if a person does real tshuva, then he takes all his sins and he transforms them into merits. That's already a high level. So Shmuel Anava says, "V'lo yidach mimeno nidach." Don't give up. Don't say I'm already a lost case. A person can do tshuva in one day. In the last moment of his life, he can do tshuva. And we want to understand the order here. We came down here, I see it as the great kindness of Hashem, that He's giving me another opportunity. Can you imagine Hashem telling me, that's it, you ran out of opportunities, you're stuck. So every moment that I'm alive, that's an opportunity. You messed up today, nothing happened. Tomorrow fix it. Fix it today, but I'll give you till tomorrow. The point is that here is the time when we can correct things. Here is the time when I can bring back to the state of the soul to the same place where it was. And this is the time, when I'm saying this is the time, I'm talking about this world. And we don't want to lose out, because you know what the problem is? We don't know when we're leaving. We don't have an itinerary with a date. You're leaving in 3 years. If we would know when we're leaving, we would leave everything to the last moment. So at least I know that on myself. You know, when I pack, when I travel, when the taxi's outside. Oh, he's here. Oh, okay. So better not to wait for the last moment. I don't know when is my last moment. So you make sure that every moment of your life, you do the right tshuva. And you failed, lo kara klum, nothing happened. Do tshuva right away. The point is to do tshuva right away. You neglect it for more than 48 hours, then it's very hard to do tshuva. Why? Because you forget. But needless to say, don't even get to this point. We have to very, very much cherish every moment that I have in this world. And follow what the Torah says. How did we start the day? The Torah is the guide to Emet. The Torah tells you what to do, what not to do. I know sometimes it sounds very annoying and very demanding. And the Torah seems like it's very limiting. I can't do this and I can't do this. But nevertheless, the Torah is my guide, telling me where to go, where not to go, like a GPS going in the dark. Like a pilot flying in fog. I don't know where I am. The GPS tells you, I will tell you where to go. You just follow what I tell you. Turn right, turn left. So the same thing here. The neshama is down in this world. There's a lot of fog in this world. Everything is a deception in this world. Everything is a lie. The Torah will tell you, turn right, turn left, 6 here, go here, don't do that, do this. We have to constantly think of the future. I can't think of right now. Right now I want to enjoy myself. No, that's a very wrong thought. Constantly think of the future. I sometimes, if I want to sin, or if I do sin, I think of, oh, my poor soul, what it's going to have to go through. That's not fair. It's almost like your best friend. You don't want to chas v'shalom do something that your best friend will suffer. So the soul and the body have such a connection. So the soul is kind of begging to the body, do tshuva. Don't let me go now to the dishwasher, to the heavenly dry cleaner. So, Mezal Hashem, we'll continue tomorrow. And there's much more to learn. But eventually when we go from one section to another, things more clear out. In the meantime, we want to just kind of dwell, and what we want to apply every day is just be very grateful for every opportunity that Hashem gives you to do tshuva. Every moment that I'm already here, every moment, then as the famous story says, as long as the candle is lit, if Charlotte can, you can correct. Don't look at, okay, there's a lost case. No, we can still do a great correction. And I have to find out how to do it, and needless to say, the Kadosh Baruch Hu allows us to do tshuva. And with that said, Mezal Hashem, we should all merit not only to chas v'shalom, to prevent from sins, but also to merit to do the right tshuva, and to be able to lizkot l'chei olam haba, to the eternal life and the reward in Gan Eden and the world to come, and so forth. רבי חנניה בן הקשיא אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, ולביא תורה וידע.